drugs&movies.com. We are here for our, I believe, 10th installment. And it seems like just yesterday we were sitting in the break room planning this. And now it is a reality. I would like to introduce the players. I am your host, Mr. Scott Baker. And to my right, the man of many languages, many foods, many different rices, Luis Fernandez.
Good morning and good afternoon.
And continuing around the circle, we have our special guest sitting. We had to bring him in again. He did such a wonderful, thorough job the first show. He's here again. He's our Stephen A. Smith, Mr. Vinny Fernandez.
Yo, what's up? What's up? New York in the building. Let's keep it going.
Let's keep it right. And not to be forgotten, the man who wants to be in the shadows but is standing up front, Mr. Wolf Griffin, ladies and gentlemen.
How do you do? Eat your vegetables and take your vitamins.
What kind of vitamins?
Multi.
You take any other type of vitamins?
Sure.
Like?
Anxiety.
What? I got that one.
We're gonna
See, I was originally gonna say the only man who has my back.
This is still Lou's son now. I'm getting twisted. But today we're going to start out, talking about, because it's a big situation across the world. Legal and illegal drugs. Which is worse? Which is better? Which should be legal? Which should be banned? It's a continual problem. You see it in every facet of our life. You see people losing their jobs in the military, people getting kicked out of school, people in court custody battles. Everything, man. Drugs play a part, man. And in my eyes, I can't separate the legal from the illegal at this point. Some of the stuff that they prescribe you can kill you just as fast as stuff that you get on the street. And we were talking earlier, and Vinny was telling us about all these different situations that they have on his college campus, you know, on how they crack down, so to speak, how they find out who's the bad apples of the group. So, Vinny, give us a little insight, man.
Well, I go to Georgia Southern University. Shout out to Georgia Southern. You know, great place to be. You know, if you're going to school, wonderful place to be. But don't get me wrong. They'll tell you it's not a party school. It is a party school. You know, they just want to flaunt, you know, flex their academic muscles a little bit. But it is a party school. You go there, you're exposed to all types of things, you know.
Okay.
A big problem, well, I won't call it a problem. Don't get it wrong, it's a good thing. But it is something that you'll have to deal with if you live in that area. We have operations where basically police officers have informants set up in the area, you know, to crack down on people selling drugs, using drugs, you know, all types of things, you know. So if you do anything illegally, you have these people who, you know, you'll see as clientele, a drug dealer will see as clientele. Turns out these guys are you know, wired. These guys have cameras, you know, in the area. So it's a pretty big thing there, you know. It's pretty well known now, you know. So it's weird because some people are more exposed to others. You have people in better areas than others, you know, more exposed because they have the local people, the informants, you know, coming out to get them. You know, it's really, to be honest, it's really frightening because a lot of people they can get in trouble, you know, just for being in the area.
So how many people would you say that you've seen, maybe just in a semester, that have been in school and then automatically just disappear?
Well, I mean, every year, you know, you have people disappear for all types of reasons.
Right,
you know,
right.
You know, whatever happens at home. You know, they have a kid. You know, they go to jail, mostly because they go to jail. Like I know last year itself, I had a friend who did get arrested. You know, off the associated informant, and about 75 other people were thrown in jail with him.
75 kids.
From one person telling the police about it. You know, these guys, you know, I'm not saying these guys are doing the right thing. They were selling marijuana, they were selling whatever, you know, pills, you know, I won't say any hard drugs. You know, I know the most things people selling on college campuses are pills and marijuana.
Right.
You know, so all these guys were taken out in a matter of days.
Wow.
Are these informants getting paid?
Well, most of these informants are people who are already in jail, people who already have problems with the system themselves. They're already in trouble.
They're making deals. Basically.
They're making deals.
Okay.
They're making deals.
So that whole stop snitching thing never made it to Statesboro.
you say stop snitching, but when you gotta watch your hiney sometimes. You gotta look out for number one.
Absolutely.
You know, and if they're telling you can go life in prison or you can do a 20-year stint if you give us these 70 names, it makes sense.
Might have to go ahead and do that. Wow, but then again, you were also telling us about legal drugs, like prescriptions that people are on, and those cause almost just as many problems.
Yeah, another big problem on my college campus is, you know, people on Adderall, people on Ritalin, things like that. Is these kids they're addicted. You know, you have kids who can't do their work, who every day rolling. We call it rolling on these pills every single day.
I'd be jealous as hell.
You know.
I'm sorry, rolling, that's basically them taking
Yeah,
it.
popping it. And when you're rolling, is basically the act of being on the pill, you know, throughout the day. You know,
Gotcha.
like these guys wake up in the morning, you know, smoke a blunt, pop a pill. Throughout the whole day, they can get their work done only because of that. If they didn't take that pill, these guys would be doing nothing.
Really?
You know, it makes them feel like, oh, I can do something. Oh, I can be involved with my work. I can do it. You know, without it, they feel like they can't do anything.
They take it so they can participate.
Yes.
Wow.
Like I know some people who have all A's and B's because they're on Adderall, because they're rolling every day. You know, they feel rejuvenated and they do their work. They do a bunch of work, but then they crash. You know. Or, you know, then they become dependent on the drug.
Gotcha.
It's a big problem. I noticed that I've never taken any Adderall or anything like that, mainly because I don't mess with anything that I'm not familiar with.
Right.
So
Which is smart.
you know, so I just feel like it's a big problem in college campuses, and you know, and I think that it's a prescription drug. You know, this is stuff that these kids get from their doctors. You know, and I don't think it's a good thing.
Well, that's a good question. Lou, will weigh in on that, man. How do you feel about these prescription drugs? Because sometimes it seems like they're more of the problem. And they're starting way younger than college. By the time they've been in college, they might have been on these drugs 10 plus years. So are we really helping the problem? Or are we creating, for lack of a better word, fiends?
Right. Well, don't forget, a lot of people in America are abusing prescription drugs, and their children are getting them from their parents. They're hitting their parents', you know, medicine cabinet.
Oxycontin, hydrocodone, things like that.
Oh yeah.
Promethazine.
Very strong drugs.
Strong drugs.
And these kids are exposed to it at a very early age because their parents are on it. Their parents are strung out on it and been doing it for years. So it's something that has been going around for a long time, but people, it's like the little dirty secret.
Because I mean, the biggest example, think about Michael Jackson. That still hasn't shook me. Like, how many drugs they say he was doing and how he was going to doctors, and doctors would tell him, no, I'm not prescribing that. He was doing another one. And eventually,
Right.
Conrad Murray later, he got what he needed.
Yeah.
Well, understand the drugs he was doing were drugs he wasn't supposed to have in his personal possession. It was supposed to be administered in front of the doctor in the office. He was allowed to take them home.
Star power.
Oh yeah, if you got the money, you have the celebrity or whatever, which in a lot of cases, you know, the combination of the two, you have whatever you got in this country. That's the American way, man.
Yeah, man. And I've actually had friends who were on prescription drugs, and some of them now have been committed. They no longer legally can be with the public.
Right.
And I always question, like, did those drugs they take have anything to do with that? Because before they might have had some issues, but it wasn't that severe.
Right.
So now, how do you answer to that?
Man, it's all over the place. I mean, you see all those commercials. Well, if you were on this drug,
Yes.
and you know, you have had heart attacks, or you've wanted to murder everyone in your family, please call us, and we'll do a lawsuit for you. That's common right now, man. That's part of American culture already.
That's why I don't take. I'm like Vinny. I don't take drugs I don't know anything about. The drugs that I've taken have been well researched, to say the least.
I know something happened to me basically. One of my many injuries, I was prescribed Lortabs. At the time, I didn't know that they killed me. You know, I can't handle things like that. My system's weak. So, did what any good Samaritan would do. I won't say the gentleman's name, but he worked with us. He was actually my boss at the time.
Okay.
He had all kinds of pains, knee problems, everything. I gave him to him. He comes back to me maybe a couple of days later. He says, Wolf, I sold every one of those pills.
What?
Now,
So he got them from you for free.
Yes.
And he took it and flipped it.
Showed me the check.
Oh man.
And you know what's bad? He didn't give me a dime.
So he showed it to you and didn't cut you in?
Not at all.
But wait, isn't that a bad thing? Like I to my understanding, you shouldn't give other people your prescription drugs.
He was already on Lortabs. Because he has, I mean, this is an older gentleman. He has a lot of pain himself. Now, the ones he were on were a lot stronger than mine. I already knew he was on them.
Okay.
I had no use for them. So I figured, hey, here you go. I mean, you're absolutely right. It's bad. I just knew he was already on them. And I couldn't take them.
Right.
But I never thought about selling them. I mean, to be honest with you,
I mean,
it's the American way. I'm telling you, man.
I mean, I've run into people who can get a thing of hydrocodone. You know, if it's 500 milligrams, if it's strong enough, they can sell it $3 a pop. You know, $3 a pill. You know, some people buy it for $5 a pill. You know,
that's what they sold them for. $5 a pill, and it was a whole bottle.
Yeah. I mean, it's the new cocaine, man. I know people who chop up pills, snort them.
Really?
Chop up pills and snort them. You know, it gets them what they need.
You know, I made that mistake one time.
Truth be told,
Let's hear it.
I remember, you know that, I think, yeah, you can get it. It's like a pain medicine. It's called Goodies.
Yeah.
It's a natural powder. Now, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know, natural. I thought it went up your nose.
Really?
Was that your first instinct was to snort it?
Pretty much, yeah. And I've been doing it ever since. And I was like,
seriously, who's to stop?
I'm not giving him any coke.
I mean, I've never seen that before. I'm like, what is this? It's powder.
And they come in a little wax papers.
Yeah, it's already rolled. Honestly, and if it goes up there, you know, it affects quicker. So I didn't even use a straw. Just.
And did it work?
Worked great, actually.
Hey,
you're endorsing Goodies. We hope that you.
Yes,
they're gonna put.
We just lost a
sponsor. But seriously,
snort at will.
Oh Lord,
it's an issue, man. We're talking about legal and illegal drugs, and kind of to switch gears. Wolf, you were talking about someone that you knew that was actually going through a custody battle, and they admitted to a judge that they had smoked marijuana.
Yes.
And the judge, what did the judge say?
Wasn't necessarily the judge. It was actually one of the lawyers I spoke to after the hearing.
Okay.
And I was telling them how she basically admitted that she was on marijuana. Or whatever they call it these days. Now.
Right.
Herbal remedies. And
chronic.
Really?
Only if you get it from California.
That's another podcast. I told the lawyer that, and he basically told me right in front of me. He said they don't consider that a drug anymore.
They don't consider that a drug, but then you go back to what we were just talking about, go to a college campus. You were talking about people getting felonies for drugs.
Oh yes, people like if you get over a ounce of marijuana, it's a felony. Right. Like you got kids, you know, who basically, you know, they have it. It's easy to access out there. It's so easy to access. You can't tell me that I don't think it's justified for it to be a felony. You know, I think it's wrong. Don't get me wrong. You know, I think, you know, it should have jail time, but I don't think it's a felony. Like these people's lives are getting destroyed for a simple mistake you made in college. You know, when you're in that environment, you know, things happen.
So it sounds like that. Depending on the location of where you buy, you sell your drugs, depending on the type of time you get, or the type of slap on the wrist, or severe felony. Because I mean, you go to Southwest Atlanta, I can guarantee you there are all kind of things out there, and they're not getting into them like that. These people have been around for years. I know a lot of people on every side of town, and I know guys who have been in big business for years. Since I've been down in Georgia almost 12 years. I know people that I've known since I moved here, and they haven't been caught, and they've been moving weight. And it's amazing, you know, the cops here can kick in an old lady's door that they got from an informant. They think she's a drug dealer and kill her, but they can't catch these criminals that are out in the public that are
Out in the open.
out in the open, that are on sides of town that you know are run rampant with drugs.
No,